Okay guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Sergio Perez. Today's video I want to talk about Bruce Lee. And most, it's not Bruce Lee, it's about Bruce Lee fans. Lately I've been having this online conversation with a guy called Thomas Stone about Bruce Lee, and in his opinion, as well as many other people's opinion, Bruce Lee is the single best fighter in the world. That's a really big statement, and this guy wants me to love Bruce Lee the same way he does. I've been trying to talk to him, and I've been trying to explain to him that in my generation, or at least on my case, I didn't saw Bruce Lee the same way you guys saw it. I didn't, when I was practicing my first martial art, I didn't want to be like Bruce Lee. I didn't want to train like Bruce Lee. I didn't like his movies that much. For me, Bruce Lee was just an actor and a great martial art teacher. But we all know Bruce Lee didn't finish the Wing Chun.
One of his most famous students was the late Bruce Lee, who brought Kung Fu to the movie screen. But in training Bruce Lee, Chung has one regret.
And I was made a vow not to teach any outside people the secret until my master died. And Bruce, I wasn't able to pass on the whole system to him.
Bruce Lee had to bring other martial art into his own to improve, because he felt that Wing Chun did not have the tools that he needed. But we also know again that Bruce Lee was a non-Chinese person. And the Chinese at that time were very, very racist. So they did not teach in the whole style, and I have a video to show you that. The other thing is that we get many people confused with the movie that Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris did on the Coliseum, where they both fight and Chuck Norris died. They trained together, for what I understand, they trained for a long period of time, but Chuck Norris said himself that they didn't fight, that he was a pro fighter, and Bruce Lee didn't want to go there.
Well, let's work out when we get back to LA. And I said, okay. So we went back, we worked out together for a couple of years.
Now, what does that mean, let's work out? You go,
just
you
just worked out.
lift barbells together?
No, punching bags and, and kicking the bag and all this kind of stuff here.
But not fighting each other?
No, I was a professional fighter.
And he was not?
But he was good. He was good.
So you could have beaten him?
Well, I don't even know. I didn't want to go there. I didn't go, and Bruce didn't want to.
You're being modest.
Bruce didn't want to go there, and I didn't want to go there. But anyway, we worked out together.
So he didn't want to go there. So they just trained, the weight training, etc. So these people get the idea that Bruce Lee, being a good martial artist but not a fighter, because let me tell you this. For instance, I have one cousin who has been having problems, a lot of problems on his high school. He has been fighting almost every month. Does that make him the best fighter in the world? No. That's just making somebody who fights or who gets in trouble. So something like that was happening to Bruce Lee in China, for what I understand, for what I've been told. But again, fighting people who has no martial art training doesn't make you the best fighter in the world. Even fighting people with martial art training doesn't make you the best fighter in the world, because then I would say, last year I fought at least 50 martial artists. Am I the best fighter in the world? No. I haven't competed in the UFC. I haven't fought in the Sanda tournaments in Orlando. I do have some fights, some MMA fights. I do have some tournaments back in Cuba. I do have some street fights. But again, am I the best fighter in the world? No. Was Bruce Lee the best fighter in the world? Not in my opinion. Again, the guy was really smart. The guy had amazing contribution to the martial art world. His legacy, huge, but it was not my inspiration. I didn't like him enough. I don't like the way the guy kicked. I don't like the way the guy throw punches. I didn't like his style. His scream annoys the fuck out of me. That's something I really hate about Bruce Lee. I remember being training karate, which was my first martial art, as I've been telling you guys before. I remember being training karate, and these motherfuckers will pass by the door and say, "Whoa!" like Bruce Lee. Then we will have to close the dojo door, and then when we go back to the street, to the regular life, and we'll be with our girlfriend, the same motherfuckers will go in the front of you and yell like Bruce Lee to shame you in front of the girlfriend, and then you have to fight. So that's something that, through Bruce Lee movies, that's something that got corrupted, or I don't know what was the objective of that, but nobody has been able to use those fucking screams in a real fight. So in my opinion, Bruce Lee was a great teacher, a great martial artist, but it was not my inspiration. Guys, the guy wasn't even the first Kung Fu teacher in the USA, less the first Kung Fu teacher in the world. For instance, I come from Cuba. We have a Chinese town established from the 1800s. We have real Kung Fu there. We have a school that dated centuries back. So, again, those teachers came from Shaolin, those teachers came from China, those teachers complete their styles. The things I saw there, and the people I have trained, in my opinion, has been way more inspiring, way more talented than Bruce Lee. So I respect Bruce Lee as a great person, but I will never love Bruce Lee as my idol. It will never be. And I'm laughing myself because this guy wants to force me to love Bruce Lee the same way he do. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It seems to me that the myth surpassed the actual man, and that's really sad, because like Bruce Lee said, be like water. You have to adapt. You cannot be rigid. You cannot be thinking that the guy was the best fighter in the world when we don't have evidence that he fought anyone of level. That's what we have to think. Where are his tournaments? Excuses like, no, tournaments has rules. Okay, that's a shield, so you don't have to fight. So that's a shield. You don't have to rule that. You don't have to put your reputation in line. That's a shield. It is what it is, and he has his reasons. I know he had a school. I know he carved the way to many people here in the USA, but again, he didn't carve my way. I make my own way. I met really good people. I met really good masters that were my inspiration, not Bruce Lee. Okay, that's my opinion on Bruce Lee. Great martial art teacher, a great actor, but it was not my idol. I hope you like this video. I hope that you understand my point. I hope I don't get as many negative comments on my last video where I explain my point of view, but that's what I think, okay? Have a good afternoon.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or creep or drip or crash. Be water.